guns in America. From America. To America.
Made in America.
Living in America. Welcome to the Just Bake channel. This is the channel where we...
Things and see. Stop.
Just
We're
bake,
back
baby.
with the Watermelon vs. Pumpkin podcast. By the way, go to gbiclothing.com, pick up some of these T-shirts, and support the channel if you choose to.
There's a baby with a do-rag, just saying.
Talk to him.
Sonogram of a baby with a do-rag. You ain't never seen that. Go get that.
Now.
And this week, we are talking about a documentary that I watched about, that I pitched and we watched about why the guns make it from America down to Mexico and why the cartel are all using Mexican guns.
So this is about...
It's a great fucking question, bro.
Excuse me, why the cartel are always using American guns?
They're being supplied by American firearms.
Check, right? They want the American government wants us
Talk about it.
to give, they're going to pay us for our guns.
Yes.
Give us money, right? And when they was doing this, to myself, I'm thinking, all right, we're going to give them these guns.
Where they going?
Where they
Now
going?
what you gonna do with it?
Right, what you gonna
Now
do?
what you gonna do
You're
with it?
breaking them, melting them, you're reselling them.
Now I know what you did with them, you fucks. You're down in Mexico.
Down in Mexico.
Killing fucking everybody.
Down in
What was that number in
Mexico.
this documentary? Like
Oh my God. 300,000 a month.
in a year. No, it was a year.
I'm
like
sorry. I'm
in
sorry.
Mexico.
Am I pushing the numbers a little bit?
Yeah, the numbers were 300,000. There'd probably be nobody left if you fucking bodying people
right,
300,000 a
right,
month.
right, yeah.
Mexico would be a desolate place.
Sorry.
man.
But
Yeah,
it fucking
man.
feels like that.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
but to have that many murders, it wasn't even deaths. We're talking about, they said it was like
Right.
300,000
Not people getting hit.
murders.
These are motherfuckers dead.
Right. However that
Yeah.
murder is from either spouse altercations, whatever. But
We
they
got
said
the
a
fact
good
check.
chunk of that is from
We got the fact
Mexican
checker
cartels.
checking. Don't worry.
This was one of the craziest things is that 34,000 people were killed in Mexico in 2020. Now,
4,000. I added
nobody was outside in 2020. That's the
Talk
crazy
to
part.
him.
Then he's like, what?
Nobody was outside in
corona?
2020.
Exactly. Pandemic. Hello.
Only Coronas is when I'm sipping and then when I'm throwing this clipping, nigga. We talking
That
about
make
Talk
that,
to him.
that's another eyebrowser that's gonna raise because I'm like, wait a minute, we were locked in out here in the States.
Yeah. And I mean, across the planet, they were locked in for a while. So,
Right.
it was like when 50 Cent dropped an album on Friday and he sold 1.1 million by Tuesday. It's like, damn, y'all did 34,000 in a short. You know what I mean?
it's a short turnaround.
Yeah.
Short turnaround. That's crazy. And speaking of all this, what I like where the gentleman broke down, I thought and this happens a lot, the last minute of the documentary was the most important thing, where they said the guns are needed because of the war on drugs.
Yep.
So I don't even necessarily want to talk too much about guns. I like that narrative more than anything. The guns are needed because of the war on drugs. So if we stop this bullshit war on drugs, then a lot of that stuff stops. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yes.
It's kind of how it works in nature. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Where if the bees die, we're all dead. You know what I'm saying? It's the same
right.
shit to where if we stop this fake drug war,
Bars.
this fake war on drugs that doesn't matter and has obviously failed. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about Nancy Reagan was
I
talking
would say
about
that was
this
the
shit.
Reagan
Right,
administration.
that was a Reagan
Yeah.
thing.
The war on drugs starts now. Nigga,
So
that was 90,
obviously it
89.
failed. We did not win the war.
We lost.
So that is something that I like to talk about because that definitely bleeds into the situation of the only reason why these cartels are around is because of drugs. And even now, as we're seeing a legalization of marijuana, the prices don't match. So the shit still isn't like, people, this isn't middle school. People in a white neighborhood, people aren't paying $60 an eighth. I don't give a fuck how gas it is.
Exactly.
Right.
People aren't doing that.
Say that, please.
But then it's weird too because then there is the other side of it to where you're like, well, we're gonna have that period if they just take the veil off and they go everything is legal. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be that period of people wilding the fuck out, and somebody's going to die because of like. They're going to be businessmen and there's going to be dumb people because, like, all right, you got to look at it like this. Yeah. Think about when Trump was like, all right, hydrochloroquine can defeat COVID.
Right.
Now, that in its certain form can do that, but there's many different forms of that, and one of those is a fish tank cleaner. So you have people dumb enough to pop fish tank cleaner and die.
Right.
So
Lysol drinking it.
if they just made drugs legal, there's going to be a motherfucker like, oh, I can just buy an ounce of coke. I'm gonna go home and do an ounce of coke,
Right.
and someone's gonna
Right.
die
Like,
if they make
because it became
PCP
legal, it doesn't
yeah.
take away from the effects that it's going to have, possibly the OD on your ass. That does not stop happening.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
legal. You know what I
I
mean?
think that's one of the reasons
that's a
why
money pool, man.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why, like, those narcotics ain't been legal, have
Yep.
been illegal because of that. Because
Yeah.
there's a possibility of ODing.
So now that'd be an interesting thing to look at is, how if a company has a car that's defective, they literally weigh the options between, all right, if we don't say anything and we just get sued a certain amount of times versus a recall, which costs more. I think we have to start looking at that same thing to where it's like, okay, that was 34,000 people that died in 2020.
Yep.
What's the number of people that die if we make things legal?
Right.
I think that's an interesting,
Right.
That's a spin. Absolutely.
So that's
That's a
social
spin.
experiment somebody's willing to take.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, simulate-
What was it?
we-
That's life, brother.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
Social
yeah.
experiment.
I'm talking about what state did that?
What is it? Washington.
Washington,
Right?
Seattle,
Where
right?
they just
Seattle,
kinda
Washington, and
opened
West
up.
Coast. They opened up their drug parameters for
Yeah.
legal.
In Seattle.
So
yeah.
that was one we talked about a while ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, what's the numbers? That might be something we have to rehash. What's that number game looking like since they did that?
Since
you
they
know?
did that.
I would
yeah.
have to guess if it was crazy, I believe we would have heard.
would
about
heard
it.
a lot
You
of
know
it,
what
yeah,
I'm saying?
it was
I
big.
think if it wasn't working, people would be
We
so
gotta go to
happy
Fox
jump
News.
on
They
it.
know
well,
it all now.
well, the thing is too. You know what I mean? Like, not to go off topic, but those motherfuckers, when all this shit was going down with the police brutality and all of that shit, social injustices and shit, those motherfuckers went rogue
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
Seattle. Like
Oh,
they
in their own
fucking
city.
like those motherfuckers kicked the cops out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where they do that at?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Like-
legally did it.
Yeah, like those motherfuckers.
Organized the system
They
and legally got
closed,
through a
like, I don't know how the
to
fuck but they closed out the perimeter where they wanted to be in. They closed everybody out,
You know how they did it?
and
Reading.
police
They
couldn't
read
come
ways
in,
of- you know what I mean?
and motherfuckers couldn't go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa.
They read through the laws and they found a way, a loophole for them to be able to do that. And that's a lot of that what it is. And it's like it says here in this boom, 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 boom that we're allowed to do X, Y, and Z. And they did this shit
Yeah, I
without
get-
any
yeah.
pushback, which I've never seen any community overthrow the cops.
Right.
Yeah. But back to the war on drugs.
Yeah.
That was crazy, man. Just even the numbers, and when you look at these ain't just like regular guns in this documentary.
these
Like,
are all
these
yeah.
are our fucking assault rifles.
Oh,
Them,
yeah.
50 caliber sniper
Snipers,
joint. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
They
Like,
can take down an aircraft.
you know what I'm
What
saying?
the
Like,
fuck?
how the fuck did that just get sold by a mistake somewhere? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't even think a resident in this country can own something like that.
Bro.
You know
There
what
are
I'm
no
saying?
mistakes.
Bro.
Right. you know
Bro,
what
like,
I'm saying?
and how about, right? How about when a person dies, right? And they want to, and the authorities or whoever wants to get that gun, found to its origin. How about when the ATFs be like, well, no, we can't do that.
Yo, because they're still in a paper system. What you know about? Yeah, they say, once we get to 10,000 boxes, this floor will collapse, so we can't put any more. We have
Oh, the fucking
storage
files.
bins
Yeah.
outside. Man,
Papers
I didn't
on
know it was
papers.
like that to where it's
Like,
But I feel like that has to
I
be in
guess-
certain situations because I feel like, man, if there's you're telling me that can't be in every crime. I feel like,
bro,
if there's a gun used in a crime and they just find it on the street, you're telling me that, well, we're not gonna be able to find out who it is for another 10 years.
I mean,
I feel like it
ATF,
can't be in every situation.
you
Right.
guys got more money than I don't know what, right? Invest in a fucking computer system.
Yeah.
You fucking idiots.
Money and technology.
Well,
is
that
there.
and that's
like you said, it's by choice. Nothing's a
it-
mistake.
and I think
I guess that's an easy way to fucking excuse their negligence.
yeah, and in every documentary, they do steer you in a certain direction to where you have to pay attention to the keywords where they did say if it's a gun case that goes through the ATF, it takes that amount of time. So I don't know what gun cases go through the ATF, but it was, I mean, definitely they're on an archaic system that they need to update.
Right.
But there was a certain, they definitely steered you in that direction.
Right. Says no, we got it all covered. Like you niggas
Mm-hmm.
is doing something shiesty, and there's no way when you have these guys got small militias, man. These cartel niggas are militia. They're
Oh, yeah.
military
They're
groups,
military
man.
groups,
They're
bro.
buying bulk of military item guns. Like no fucking resident I know that is able to buy guns is doing that or should be allowed to do that to buy
Right.
that many. So that case, it just boils it down to like, nigga, our government is just selling these things guns.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you watch the movie, the series Snowfall.
Yeah.
You ever see that one?
Yeah.
It was a lot of that. It was a
The
guy
CIA
that was working for the
was
CIA
fucking
funding,
feeding him
Right.
the drugs.
They were doing taking drug money and funding a war. with
But
it.
it all boiled down
With
back
guns.
to a guerrilla war because basically in that aspect, basically they didn't want the people in South America to be dictated. They wanted They wanted to branch out their form of
There was
government.
more of a liberation they were trying to do. With
You know
it.
Literally
But
what's happening in
but they were
Colombia
still
right now.
But they were still
Exactly.
selling the drugs to get the
Exactly.
guns. Listen, man, money talks, man. It's like somebody in that fucking military base that had access. Like, yeah, I'm about to make fucking $3 million off the books selling a shitload of guns.
Yo,
Come on,
and to
man.
get into a conspiracy that really isn't a conspiracy, most of the stuff that you see on TV like that, that shit's reality.
Real
And
life.
It's just and it's just
Absolutely.
put onto you to make you get used to it. So people literally have that defense that's built into them where they go, no, that's not. No, I saw that on TV. That shit is real life.
Exactly.
I like the name of the thing, how they said it's called the Iron River.
Yes, the Iron River.
The area that goes from, and that's another thing they were talking about. We take the drugs up north and we bring back the guns, and it's just cyclical. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like we go up, down, and because they were even talking about like, well, at first they were just dropping the drugs off and coming back, and they were like, well, you got an empty car, so let's send you up with the
Right.
drugs, boom, come back with the guns, up with the drugs, back with the guns.
It's the crazy shit. Like, when they look at black people, we're crazy. Like, look, we don't make the guns. we don't have cocoa leaves. I don't know not one nigga with a cocoa plant in his fucking backyard. Nigga. They're getting here somehow. You know what I mean? You're mad at the drugs that are being here, but you got to be mad at how the fuck they're getting here in drones.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? At
Yes.
some point, somebody's looking the other way.
Yes.
If that's the
They're
case,
all
then
looking the other
Our borders
way.
are all fucked,
Yeah.
man. And if all we got to do is smuggle a nigga in with bad intentions, the way we smuggle drugs in.
It goes back to what you were saying earlier. It goes back to what Lil Max was saying earlier, man. If you get rid of all the drugs, you get rid of all the guns, you're gonna probably starting to lay off a lot of cops, a lot of lawyers, a lot of judges. Jails
You
will
can't
be
solve the
starting to
problem.
empty out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there'll be a whole lot of motherfuckers on unemployment.
For a
wait,
lot of things in life, there's no
Volunteer.
profit in solving the problem.
Right. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
A lot of motherfuckers on unemployment now.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wouldn't make a fucking difference.
Right. But look at even the medical field. Nobody's getting sick anymore. It's like, oh, we can't pump them with these meds and all this other shit.
That's another fucking story. But anyway.
One crazy
It's a
thing
drug,
that
though. It's still
there's one legal gun store in Mexico. How crazy was that?
That's
There's
lit.
literally
Whoa.
one
That was
gun
fucking
store
insane.
in Mexico,
One legal fucking gun store.
and the government runs it.
Right.
But then they didn't really dive into it. I want to know. So then, what are the qualifications that you need to have a legal gun in Mexico?
It's probably hard as shit. I would imagine so. It's like, listen, the cartel is the ones that get all the illegal shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to get an illegal gun in Mexico, I would take it. From America.
And now there's a process that they call straw buying, which is interesting because
straw buying.
I wish that they got into it a little bit deeper because I want to know how. I guess maybe it is
Nobody's
because
checking them on their
it's
guns.
back to the ATF thing.
Yep.
Because so I guess that's where it breaks down to where if they were saying 150,000 guns were attributed to the U.S. that they found in this certain amount of time. So when you buy a gun using your name and all that, but then they were saying if you put down false information that you're like not buying it for someone else.
Right.
But
There's loopholes.
so that's what I'm wondering then. Could that eventually get back to that person? But are they just taking the risk where it's going to take so long for it to get back to them?
The thing also too is they got all these like
'cause you gotta report the
gun.
shit
You
stolen
got
and
not
shit.
only that, but you got these like in the South. There's a lot of gun swaps
Yeah.
in the South where you can go to a fucking flea market,
Yeah, that was big in there.
right, with no ID, no nothing, and go to a guy that's
tell
selling a
him.
gun and say, "Listen, how much is that?"
Yep.
And then what he's gonna say is, "You're legal, right?" Without asking to
They
see
didn't
your
see
ID.
no credential
No
check.
credential check and nothing, but just
it's
you're
the honor
legal, right?
system.
Yeah.
Yo,
I'm
there's
legal
no
as
honor
fuck.
system in buying guns, man.
I if you cut me, I bleed red, white, blue, and sing the Star Spangled Banner.
That
That's
was crazy,
how
too.
legal I am.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, yeah, $250.
Door.
But the only little pushback I have against that is what I think they were glazing over is that is wildly illegal. That is not legal, but I think in the documentary they tried to make that seem like, and this is okay, like that is wildly illegal to where if that guy gets caught, to where when those people were doing the secret camera shit, if they, I'm not saying the guy that they sold the gun to in the parking lot, but the guy that was doing that at the gun swap, that is wildly illegal what he did. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it was weird because it looked like it was like they were selling clothes and shit in the background. It was a weird, like a regular.
Oh yeah, it was a flea market.
And that's and they do that all the time down south.
Underground
all the
shit.
time.
Yeah.
The guy selling
to where it is, like I said, it definitely is illegal, but it does speak to how easy it is to get a gun. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because even when he asked him, "Do you guys do background checks?" and he's like, "No, but you're good, right?" That was a weird, like,
exactly.
So, no,
like,
it was. He goes that, and the guy's like, and he even answered it in a bullshitting way. Yeah. You know, when somebody gives you about 6 years, that's usually bullshit.
Oh yeah.
No, and the way he said it was that lying way.
And then that's when they went to what you was talking about, where you got places where they go a step further, and then that's when you have to get the other guy to buy the gun for you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But then my whole thing is like, now that you're combo for that gun, but it's like, if like you said, when it comes back to you, or what are you gonna say when it comes back to you? You're gonna say it got stolen. Where's your police report? You know what I mean? Like, you know.
But then I guess that would be scratch cereals. I'm assuming. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like because.
But it's like if your gun is missing, you don't know. We found it in Mexico. Is with body on it.
But that's what I mean. That's why I think they scratch the cereal, because then if they can't trace it back to you, because if No,
but I'm just saying the fact that you lost it, you have to report it as soon as it's gone. You know what I mean?
But if they can never trace it back to you, then because people can't be that dumb to buy a gun and be like, I'm gonna do dirt here. You know what I mean? Like they gotta do something. You gotta prep that shit you gotta
change the body on it or
put
something.
some steel wool on that motherfucker.
and then, but
because like you were saying, no one's gonna check up. Hey, do you still have that gun? Right. Unless
something comes.
Hey, we found this one that has a serial.
And you know what's crazy though? I bet you that'd be a route taken, and then the right wing is gonna people that are deep right and they go crazy over their guns. Of them having a coalition of people that, hey, we're gonna do annual checks to make sure you got the guns that you have on file. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, that'd be a thing that they could do that I ain't never seen. You know what I'm saying? And there'll be people that I think will give a lot of pushback with that. I just got my guns and leave me alone. I think maybe you got to check in with somebody. It's called a check-in. But
the fucked up thing about the whole shit is that nobody gave a fuck until that trooper, that fucking cop, the border patrol cop, got killed.
Yeah.
That's how it usually works, though.
You know what I'm saying? It had to take somebody to fucking die for all this shit to fucking start.
And it had to take somebody in the law enforcement type area to die, because when they're talking about that Operation Fast and Furious shit, when they're tracking these gun swaps and they're looking at all these guns going back and forth, it doesn't matter until someone gets killed that they care about.
So fun and games if somebody dies.
Yep.
Till someone that they care about dies. You know what I mean? Normal people could fucking die.
Right.
All day.
30,000 in Mexico could die every fucking year, but nobody gives a shit.
Like, come on, man.
Nah, but to see that, man, it's like, it's funny that you put these documentaries out there like that, and then you see it right in front of your face, and people still just, and the government just like, it's not happening. Nigga, it's happening.
It is happening.
There are drones of American assault rifles and military.
So you mean to tell me all this information, all this shit that they're spewing out is just made up from a fucking book or from somewhere? Like they dug their ass and it's like, oh yeah, I got this information about guns.
But then everything also is connected into the politics. How we talk about the gun lobbyists have so much money to where nobody gets elected off of like, you guys really like me, vote for me. There's all money and everything behind the scenes.
An agenda and electives and all of that shit.
But then too, I will say, every country and every society, like Alex Jones was on this documentary real quick ranting about it, but what he's saying is correct. Every society that has taken their guns away from their people
revolted. What
happens next is really bad, because they take away the guns and then y'all can't do shit to us. So then all bad stuff happens within the government. Then they, really move in and take away your rights, because if you can't defend yourself, then it's just the power dynamic is weight. And once again, even, our president Biden, he was talking about it like, well, I mean, you guys aren't going to fight the military. Like, we have nukes and jets and all this other shit, like talking to the citizens about this shit where you're like, yeah, but I still want a way to defend myself. Like, just because I don't have a nuke doesn't mean I can't defend myself.
If you could let a key of coke come over this motherfucker, and drones and keys of coke, like, I don't know if you could stop a boat from coming over here full of niggas to get me. I don't know.
Because I do feel what they were saying on this, almost podcast, on the documentary, to where I feel like, yes, background checks should be, more stringent. They should be, it should be harder to get, just like it should be harder to be a police officer. It should be harder to get a gun. I get that.
Right.
Bro,
but
it's tougher to buy a pack of cigarettes than it is to get a fucking gun, bro.
oh my goodness.
Talk about it. ID. You got to get ID carded. Like, I'm 45.
I'm
ID,
fucking-
sir.
I can't get a fucking cigar without getting carded, bro. But I can go down south and get
Georgia.
80 guns like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
250. You're legal, right? Yeah. Just give them
Yep.
6 years. 6 years and you're
Yeah,
in.
And that's one of the things about different states having different laws, which is
Right.
something that I love for certain situations. But then the other, where I don't know if homeboy in the parking lot that made the gun deal was telling the truth, but when he asked him the same shit about background checks and the guy,
shit in
He
Georgia
was
they
giving
were
them
talking
gems.
about.
He was like, yeah, in this
he was
state,
saying,
they
he's
don't-
like, yeah, in this state,
Yeah.
it's not really. But
They don't
also
give a shit.
too, just because the guy said it doesn't mean it's
But
true.
I don't-
You know what I'm saying?
I
Just
don't-
because you bought it, don't make
Right.
it
He
yours.
tried to make it sick because make sure the guy didn't want to revoke on the deal.
Yeah, but I don't-
He just
I
wanted
don't-
to sell
You
that
gotta make
shit.
sure you want it, right? Don't backtrack,
Exactly.
nigga.
I
This
don't-
is a gun we're talking about.
I get the laws and all of that, which are good just for argument's sake, because Chicago has the strictest fucking gun laws in America, but yet they just fucking killed 600 people. Or
Yep.
excuse me, 600 people got shot just over fucking the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
That's
got
it.
people in Illinois, right? Not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. You got a group, more than, let's say, 10, 20, that are saying the same shit, that they see fucking crates just falling in fucking neighborhoods outside the hoods, and they're crates of guns.
Oh yeah, think about when all the riots were happening.
Right.
There's just pallets of bricks. Those don't show. This is not a fucking video game.
there's no
where
construction
you don't
site.
just and if there is a construction site, they don't just leave pallets of bricks
laying
right
out.
where there's about to be a fucking riot. That shit doesn't happen.
Right.
Like it's all that stuff that people don't look into, and certain people see it. But that's why, like I've said before, and it is a halfway joking thing, but it's also very true, where like when you think about the quintessential like white people, that's where I'm like, I see them and I'm like, that's not me. Like I'm not in that fucking group of
There's
people
a
where
class, a certain
they're
class of white
yeah.
people that they're talking about when they
Right.
say it.
And
Exactly.
where they see that and like, oh my God. And then they got brick, and like they never give a second thought to, bro, who put the fucking bricks there? They don't just magically show up. This is not a fucking video game where just like
Exactly.
broop, brick spawn
Right.
and same shit like you were saying.
Somebody money,
People have been
power,
saying
and
that
agenda.
shit forever. Where
Right.
just they run, and everyone has that fantasy of a fucking bag of money falling off the back of a truck. But
Right.
in bad neighborhoods and shit like that, there's always little, like once again, like a video game of just, here's a box that we just creaked open
Right.
and there's a whole bunch of guns in here.
Right.
Where,
Like,
where,
hey, we
where
don't
those
have
coming
community.
from?
We don't have community reach out centers in
Again.
neighborhoods, but we got a shitload of liquor stores.
You know what I'm saying? But again,
Niggas, you drink your pain away.
people out there, man, like, again, common sense, man.
And personal responsibility.
And accountability, man. Like, come
Yep.
on, let's stop walking around here like we got no fucking clue what's going down, man. Like,
Yeah.
be accountable and fucking have common sense.
Accountable,
man.
responsible, pay attention. Be aware, nigga.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, man.
It's going down, man, and somebody's funding them guns, and somebody in our government is letting a shitload of guns fly away, and
And a lot of it's set up how they were talking about. There's where are the most fucking gun stores?
Yes.
Right on that fucking border.
That
They were
borderline.
saying, what was it? New Mexico, Texas, and
Texas,
somewhere else.
California.
California.
Yep.
Southern California. To
Yep.
where it's like, this shit, it's like Jon Stewart with the Wuhan
Yes.
lab thing. Like,
Yes.
hey, there's 1 million gun stores on the border. How are these guns getting over the border?
Right.
Because they're right there.
They're
You know
right
what I'm saying?
there. Exactly.
there. And there's no
Exactly.
cap on a gun buy, man. There's a motherfucker. If you got enough money, you can own
Oh, yeah.
fucking
Oh,
600
yeah.
to 1,000 guns.
Oh
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
If your
And they're not gonna take them from you.
Bro, look at the fucking
At some point, that gets ridiculous to me. If
Look
a
at-
nigga's buying 1,000 guns, he need to be
look
investigated.
at the truck they pulled over with fucking what they said with
bullets,
with
yeah.
like 30,000 rounds of ammunition or some shit. Like,
Yeah, they said
How do
over
you
a
get
quarter
hands on
million.
that? How do you get hands on that?
Like,
That's
who
not,
the
that's not an everyday fucking thing.
Who the
Your
fuck
local gun
buys
store
that?
shouldn't- right.
But I'll tell you, I bet you the guy driving it is not the guy that knows anything about anything. All he
Exactly.
knows is
You're
that
getting
I'm
paid.
driving.
I
gotta
Right.
load, bring the load from here to there.
You're getting paid to do
Mm-hmm.
a job, nigga. So you're paying me really good too. You want to know why? You probably
Yeah.
should get paid more if you knew what the fuck was in the back.
Exactly, exactly. Because you're not
You're
getting
getting
paid,
paid-
what you want, what you
Right.
need
You-
to be.
You're getting paid to not know nothing. That's
Right.
it. You're getting paid to drive this to there, and that's
Right.
it.
And he might be completely in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Legit in the dark. Like, oh shit, what? There's what back there? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit. God. Like, is this nigga pretending?
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that nigga really didn't know.
But on that aspect, when a trucker is getting a load in, 9 times out of 10 he sees what's going in that truck.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's not just walk up and start driving.
right.
Yeah.
So the motherfucker saw that and was like, you know what? Let me.
But I'm just saying,
mind my
seeing
business.
crates and not knowing what's in them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, that's what I mean. Like,
No, you got a crate count. All right, I'm delivering it.
Yeah.
I got 600 crates. Where I got bring them.
but I mean, but in that particular instant, there's no way that motherfucker didn't see them skids of fucking bullets.
No.
Yeah. Because they were plain sight. They didn't really dig for them.
It was clear shrink wrap, and you clearly see all those cases.
He got money to shut the fuck up and keep moving. You know what I'm saying?
And I think above everything else, man, as long as there's money being made and however it is with people looking the wrong way, and I've heard that conspiracy theory about like there's cops on those border towns to where all the guns that they seize, you got some, everyone's seen the movie American Gangster.
Yeah.
Though all cops aren't fucking great people, and could you open a trunk with $500,000 and be like, I'm gonna put all this in and put it over there, and yes, guys, this is what
I know. I think of like
you're not gonna toss 20,000 behind a bush,
right? You
Right.
You got your everyday life expenses. You're like, shit. I just
that's
I hate my job and I wish I got paid more.
But that's true
now you
too.
run across a drug dealer that you run down on. He's got, like you said, a trunk full of fucking $500,000. We gotta put all this in the bag.
And they're talking about you're not really that you're not really that looked at when you're going into Mexico. They're talking about coming back into the United States. That's when you're really getting looked at. But boom, you're going back. And your payoffs for everybody. Right. Hey man, good to see you again. Here's $1,000.
Somebody's like, man, I just had another kid, nigga, and they ain't
For
paying
real.
me shit, and I ain't get a raise. I'll take that.
I don't think it's going to be solved anytime soon. And I think we should
and it's
definitely.
by design.
And there seem to be a couple documentaries about this, about the war on drugs, where I think we'll hit a couple more of those and definitely touch on them. Like, yes, by design, definitely, because that money talks.
Absolutely. Right. And in this country, and in this country it does. So, I mean,
every country. So,
but more likely,
so
but more likely, we, over here, yeah. It's definitely moving things and opening doors and
doing things and saying stuff.
There you go. There it is.
For real.
So
but
invest in crypto.
Yeah, invest in crypto. Leave a comment.
That's a good pitch. I like it.
Leave a comment down below. Tell us how you get drugs and guns over the borders.
Yeah.
Tell us your little tips and tricks.
How do you get it in quicker?
Just bake, baby.
Oh yeah. Click all the links down below. Until next time, this is a Just Bake channel where we
do things and see.